Story 1. You don't eat on average 8 spiders while you sleep. This was actually an example used in a magazine article in 1993 about how people will believe whatever they read as fact. Ironic. Story 2. You should just follow your passion, and the money will follow. While passion is important, financial stability often requires a practical approach and strategic planning. Story 3. Time heals all wounds. However, I have physical and emotional scars that tell me otherwise. Also, I've been stabbed, and I'm pretty sure watching the clock wouldn't have done me any good. Story 4. Playing dead is not a safe strategy when encountering a bear. A predatory bear of any color will significantly harm you. Black bears don't always run away. Brown bears will aggressively attack if they think you're pretending to be dead. Polar bears, well, good luck with facing those. I see this misleading advice in every discussion about bear encounters, often from people who have never encountered a bear in the wild. If you are in bear territory, carrying bear spray is a critical safety measure. Making noise helps in not surprising them. If you encounter a bear, do not run. For black bears, try to appear larger by holding sticks or your arms in the air and shouting loudly. Do not physically attack them unless they refuse to leave and pose an imminent threat. For brown, grizzly, or Kodiak bears, have bear spray readily accessible. It's essential to know how to use it. Many sellers provide practice cans. If confronted, do not run, do not turn your back, and do not play dead. These bears are opportunistic predators, not easily fooled. Try to remain as calm and non-threatening as possible while slowly backing away. Polar bear, honestly, just good luck. Regarding firearms, they may intimidate some bears but have consistently proven to be less effective, heavier, and more complex to use under sudden stress than bear spray. A wounded animal can become significantly more dangerous. However, I'm sure those confident in their shooting skills have nothing to worry about, right? Story 5. A grown adult man in the current year told me that master martial artists have to register their hands as legal weapons, an allegation I have not heard since middle school. Story 6. Karma. If karma were true, many billionaires would have died a horrible death decades ago. Instead, they live like kings and they act as they wish with impunity. Story 7. Reddit often mentions that the phrase "blood is thicker than water" is an incomplete quote and asserts that the original version was, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." However, this is not accurate. The addition was made centuries later, specifically in the 1990s. Story 8. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This is not actually a definition and never has been. It is just a quote attributed to Albert Einstein. Story 9. One common saying that isn't true is, "Money can't buy happiness." While money alone doesn't guarantee happiness, it can certainly provide opportunities and reduce stress, which can contribute to overall well-being. Story 10. Taxes are how we pay for the goods and services we all consume. The taxes are theft crowd just wants free stuff on everyone else's dime. Story 11. Enjoy your 20s. Life gets worse after, not true. If you are smart enough, every age can be fun, interesting, and important. Just do appropriate things for your age, remember to grow yourself always, and to be surrounded by good people, and you will feel good all the time. Story 12. What I hear so often is that it's wrong to drink cold water to cool the body down when it's hot. The arguments are, the body has to heat up the cold water and ends up heating up even more, and desert people always drink hot tea. The first argument is not valid because the body doesn't have to heat up the cold water. Actually, the body spends a lot of energy to keep cool by sweating. The second argument is also not valid because they drink tea in the desert because they need to boil the water first to prevent sickness from bacteria and so on. Story 13. You can see the Great Wall of China from space. You can, but it's very hard to, and the weather conditions have to be just right. They make it seem like you can just look at China and point to the Great Wall and say, "There it is." You can see the Great Pyramids of Giza from space. Story 14. Often, I automatically don't believe someone, unfortunately or fortunately enough, when they start a sentence with, "I heard from somewhere or someone that," If you can't cite back directly to what you're about to reference, it's easy to play telephone with information. Story 15. All parents love their children. A child seduced her rapist. Character matters. Hard work pays off. Suicide is considered selfish by some. Calling suicidal people cowards is insensitive. The statement that racism doesn't exist is false. Claiming people's race determines their value is incorrect. Saying it's a fake story if it didn't happen to me is a narrow perspective. Story 16. Private prisons are behind the high incarceration rate in the United States. Less than 8% are in private prisons. There are much bigger issues like the war on drugs. Story 17. It is what it is. Alright, it is largely true, but people say this meaning that there's nothing they can do about something bothering them, and it drives me nuts when they say it about things they absolutely could change. Everyone in my town says it about their jobs. And to be fair, the average working situation here isn't great. But it is what it is in this context only helps the people who make money off your miserable conditions. I know sometimes you genuinely can't change things, but I just hate when people say this about things they could if they cared to do instead of just complaining. Story 18. There are plenty of fish in the sea. The sea is polluted with toxins, cheaters, and predators. Most fish aren't something I want to catch, and I don't know where I should stand when casting the fishing rod. I'm also a lazy fisherman who rarely goes fishing. Imagine if you don't even know where the sea is. You're not trying to catch the biggest fish like so many do because it's not necessarily the best. Many cannot even reel in the largest fish. You don't want it. But you also don't want the aggressive piranhas that are trying to bite the thread because they want the bait. There are more and more of them these days in certain areas, and they're becoming more hostile. Story 19. Many superstitious individuals express bizarre things without any basis in reality. At times, these are very intelligent people, yet they still say and believe ridiculous things, such as praying to a god for assistance or expressing gratitude to a higher power for their good fortune. Story 20. The phrase "don't look a gift horse in the mouth" suggests that one shouldn't be overly critical of a gift they receive. However, if you were to give me a horse and I then had to spend $10,000 on dentures for it, I would want to know. In other words, if a gift has a catch, I am certainly going to inquire about it. Story 21. The worst that can happen is that she says, no. Ignoring all of the much worse than no negative reactions a person can have, the worst thing she can do is say, yes. And then you find out 20 dates or 10 years in a marriage down the road that she is an absolute garbage human being and she has caused you to completely upend your life in ways you never imagined possible. Story 22. Everyone has unique fingerprints. This was just a statement made by the guy who invented modern fingerprinting, and not based on any facts or science. We can't know for sure because we have only fingerprinted a small portion of the population. Fingerprints are unique, but there is a reason they are not admissible in US courts most of the time. It is a shoddy science not based in any actual facts. Think of it like chiropractic for criminal justice professionals. Story 23. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Unless, of course, it maims or cripples you for life, destroys everything you hold dear, takes irreplaceable people from you, or takes years off your life. Story 24. Plenty of the prejudice between political parties exists. Neither of them likes to think they are being manipulated against each other for a reason. If one of them replies to this comment saying it actually is true for the other side, then that side is being unfairly criticized. Story 25. No one can make you feel anything. It's your responsibility to work on yourself and manage your activations, so others don't impact you. However, the reality is most aren't there yet, and your words and actions do bring about feelings in others. Story 26. That service dogs and emotional support pets need to be registered or certified, or that you should just pretend as a disabled person to exploit the system. Story 27. You have to be perfect to succeed. Many people believe that only those who are flawless or have everything figured out can achieve their goals. In reality, success often involves learning from mistakes, adapting, and persevering despite imperfections. Story 28. Eating bread crust makes your hair curly. No, it doesn't. If it did, I would avoid eating it at all costs because I don't want curly hair. I wanted to stay straight. Story 29. They could never do something like that. Insert atrocious act. With the correct motivation, people can be made to do anything. The Central Intelligence Agency and countless psychological studies have proven this.